Hi, we're the BookToktors. I'm AK Mulford.
And I'm Ann Kemp, and we're here to help authors on their social media journey. We want you to build community. We want you guys to have fun. And most of all, we want you to sell some books.
If you want even more social media and marketing support and bonus content, you can check out our Patreon community at patreon.com/BookToktors. And a very special welcome to our newest patron, Melissa.
Ah, Melissa.
Welcome.
So happy to have Melissa on board.
Yes.
Yay.
Welcome to our Patreon.
I love our Patreon community. I get very excited because it's growing. As you guys are hearing on the podcast, we get one or two new people coming in each week, and it's like, I don't know, it's just fun. It's like we're pulling up a bus and people get on it, and each time people get on, I just get more excited.
Yes.
We're
And
a
I love
party bus.
new things click in for them and then them being able to use that on their platforms. That's like the most exciting thing for me.
Yeah.
So, yes, I love it. And today we're talking about something that I feel like is really important too,
Yeah.
especially with, holiday season coming up, and that is how to take a break,
Yeah,
which
to
sounds like
actually,
it should be pretty easy, but is actually very hard.
I love it because I feel like, yes, this podcast, we want other people to hear it or to come to YouTube and to see us talking about this. But this is so for me today. It's
No, we're doing
a
this for ourselves too.
This is
We
for
need to hear
us.
it.
Like
We
we
all
just
need to
have
hear
to
it.
have
This
the
is a tough
reminder.
conversation.
This is one that
Tough
it's
love.
like we have to, and I've noticed, I've been talking the last few weeks in the lead up to this. I've got my book releasing on November 22nd. So I have been across social. I've actually had to pull back just a little bit from my crazy posting strategy I was doing, but I had to shift and adjust for my schedule and what was going on here, but still keeping that consistency, which I've been very happy about still doing. But I am noticing where I had gotten into some good habits right before this kicked off, which was especially at 7 o'clock, making sure that phone's down and away from me so I can focus on the room I'm in. Last
Mm.
night at 9, I was still there with my finger on the phone, checking something, while checking something else. And I was like, okay, no. But almost needing to give myself like that. What permission do I give myself? Because I am trying to do promotion until next week. Put the phone down, walk away.
Right. Yeah,
Like,
I know. Well, and last week we talked a little bit about preparing and ways that you can batch content and plan content so that you can take a break and kind of still be showing up on social media by posting that content you've already created without having, still keeping the algorithm going with all of your daily posting or however frequently you do without having to put so much energy into it. But I do feel like we all struggle with giving ourselves permission to turn off. When you're running your own business, everything feels like an emergency. Everything feels like a hustle. And that grind is like constantly going in the background, even when we're, with family or doing other things or celebrating the holidays or preparing a dinner. A lot of times we're still thinking, how can I sell these books? How should I check my phone again and, reply to these comments? And it's always kind of going in the background. We always feel like if we miss a day or we take a break, that we're going to somehow lose something that we can't get back. And that, we're doing a disservice to our business, which is a huge mental hurdle to get over in order to take care of yourself.
yes. Oh my gosh, so much. Like you have to, like you have to have breaks. And I think about with meditation or with yoga, and people that stop and, you talk to these gurus that talk about how with meditation, even just taking that 20 minutes a day, you think you don't have it, but you actually do. You take that 20 minutes for yourself to sit quietly, to go for a walk, to just sit and do deep breathing. It is amazing what happens on the other side of it. And for me personally, I have stopped in crazy times when I feel like it's all very overwhelming and coming to a head and too much is too much. Those are the times that I know I need to walk into a room, close the door by myself and sit there. I will feel my body being still electric for the first 60 to 90 seconds. And then after 3 minutes, you can feel where your receptors or everything's just starting to calm down and you're getting away from the situation. You're starting to breathe. They always say, take big breaths in your belly, get that fight or flight. You've got to get rid of that because you're in that fight, flight, or freeze type of situation that you can put
Yeah.
yourself in by being a business owner, trying to make deadlines. And if you're wearing all of the hats in your business, plus you've got things happening in your personal life, plus it's the holidays.
Yeah, which is already stressful. Already seeing family members, maybe like, or, just the stress of entertaining, or maybe you're an introvert and having to be overly social. Like there's a lot of stressors and added things going on just around that time. And then usually we're always at capacity with how much we can possibly do on marketing and social media and things as well. Yeah, it's hard. I like what you're saying about that, just like taking a deep breath, walking away, closing your eyes. I like to do a few deep breaths and things. And I also feel like I have to be very strict with myself because I'm a very stubborn person about when is time to be using my phone for social media and when isn't. Because if I don't have rules and structure around it, it will just fall apart. Yeah.
That's a good point. It's almost like, do you give yourself times like, okay, at this time in the morning, that window is when I go on TikTok and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I because TikTok is kind of my bread and butter social media, I put more energy into TikTok than the other platforms. The other platforms I'm actually pulling back from a little now, especially with, now that the Rogue Crowns come out, I've had my book release. And so now I'm trying to pull back and posting like every other day on Instagram and, all of the other places. And I'm posting once a day on TikTok, once a day and one story. And then sometimes if somebody has a question or something, I'll do that too. So I have probably 3 times a day that I check in on TikTok, like once in the morning when I'm posting that video, like once at midday when I'm eating lunch, and then in the evening after dinner when all 2 of my kids I guess Ziggy, our dog, counts too, all kind of go off and are watching TV or doing other things, and we're all just having our chill out time. And I sit in my comfy chair at this house rental and I have my chocolate and I like scroll through TikTok and see what's going on TikTok. And so those are my like 3 times a day. They're probably like between 10 and 20 minutes, so they're not very long. And so, yeah, usually it's like 10 or 20 minutes in the morning where I'm posting, 10 or 20 minutes at lunchtime where I'm replying to comments and recording another video. And then in the evening where I'm like looking for more content as far as sounds and engaging with other people and things. So I put more energy into TikTok than I do my other socials. But over Christmas and while we have family over in the holidays and things, I'll probably be just posting. So it'll just be that morning time. And then I will be away from my phone the rest of the day, away from social. So I will already have all the videos stocked up for that week ready to go. And all I need to do is press post, and that's all I'll do. So I'll still be able to kind of like tick the box if I showed up that day, but I won't be recording content. I won't be looking for new content. I won't be engaging with people on socials because that's time that I want to set aside for my family. And it's hard because even though logically, and emotionally I want to be with my family, there is that like kind of itchy brain feeling of like, I need to be online, I need to be present, I need to be keeping up with my engagement and stuff. And that's when you have to be stubborn. Sorry, there's construction going on. And just say no, like now's not the time, that time is later, and you're not missing out. Don't let the FOMO get you, because I feel like we all feel like something very important is happening that we're missing on social media all the time.
And it's not, and if it is, it's going to be there. You're going to come back. And if it's that important, it will show up in front of you. That post is getting a lot of attention. It's going to find its way to your For You page or into your Facebook or Instagram feed, or you'll hear about it through your friend that saw it because they'll text it to you and it'll show up that way. Like, who knows? But yeah, you have to take that time just to, because it's also, we've created habits, and I feel like, they say it takes 21 days to make and or break a habit, and I firmly believe in that it can. So it can take time for us to unwind out of this. And
Mhm.
why not, like last week was about planning and preparing for it in November, look ahead to December, January, that little window there. And why not plan for yourself to like mentally like get your stuff set up with your posting, but then mentally start thinking, now this is
Yeah.
the day I'm tuning out. I'm going to start tuning out on December 19th. So that
Mhm.
way on December 19th, you set a goal for yourself. Like, I'm going to put my phone down every night tonight at 6 o'clock, or, oh, this one kills me. Cause this is one of our friends, Allie. And this is something that Glenn and I, my husband and I, wanted to do years ago. And why did we do it? Because I, have to have the phone by the bed for whatever reason. The phone is by the bed. I turn off airplane mode, but the phone's by the bed. And we've talked about getting like a sound machine or something in the room so that we can have the phones out of the room at night. Well, I found out that one of our friends the other day, because I was asked them about their phone, she goes, well, I put mine in my office at night and then I walk away. So I don't look at it till the next day. So you're my
That's
hero.
brilliant.
And that is where what I want to get to, because I really, for
Mhm.
Christmas, I really want to get this man one of those sound machines, because we're loving listening to the rain at night. But how much like a better way to wake up without your phone next to you, because there's that habit of grabbing your phone first thing in the morning, and I don't turn it on, but it leaves the bedroom in my hand. I go to the bathroom, it's in the bathroom with me. As I walk out to the coffee, it's in the kitchen. By the time I sit down, I'm still not turning it on, but I
Mhm.
have it with me. I
Yeah.
don't want to even have it with me during that time over the holidays, because this is
Mm.
something I'm attached
Yeah.
to do, the social media things or to do these other things. Like, I need a minute. I want to get it out of my room. I think that is just
I have
amazing.
a rule with myself of like no social media-ing, but I quite like having my phone with me because I read on my phone because it's easier to hold than a book. So I read on my Kindle app on my phone, and the light's darker so that, I don't have to have a light on and wake other people up. But in the mornings, I put my AirPods in and listen to a podcast, and that's
Mm.
my way of like forcing myself out of bed. When I like don't want to get up and I can't make a lot of noise. So I'll just put my AirPods in and listen to a podcast for like 5 or 10 minutes until I'm like, okay, my brain is awake enough. I can get out of bed. But I don't check social media because it can ruin my day and ruin my creative flow
Mhm.
um, before I've even started. It's like I need to get the productivity, get the ticked box, do some things first, and then I can check socials. And by then I'm more able to handle it. But if you like read a mean comment or have something happen on social media, see some sort of like outrage content that is always being pushed, um, it will just it kind of like warps your brain to the point where that's all you can be thinking about, right? Because it feels like an emergency. And so your brain's focused on that instead of the creative content you're trying to make. And so I feel like that's an important thing to think about too with the holidays coming up
Yeah.
is when are you checking your socials? Because if you're checking your socials and there's a lot of negativity on it, that's going to affect how you are with your family, and how you're showing up over the holidays as well. So be conscious of that and how social media content is affecting your mental health and you mentally, because you don't want to be someone who's thinking about the mean comment instead of spending time with your family.
And you are the energy that comes into the room at the holidays. So you set the tone when you're coming in. And so if your social media, if you go on there and you see something that bumps you in whatever way, you don't want to be putting your phone down and then walking into a room to sit down and have breakfast with your family and you've been deflated, or now
Yeah.
or you're outraged,
Yeah.
or this other thing has happened, or this thing happened on Amazon because all the pre-orders went away. Like,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, like don't look at your social media. I bless Becca Syme because I was introduced to Becca Syme 12 months ago by Allie and two other friends of ours. And when I say introduced, not personally, but introduced to Becca Syme's amazing Clifton Strengths for authors. And knowing that my input now is it's I think it's a number 2 is my input, achiever, and then input. So the input side of me, when I turn on the phone, when I learned that about myself, that I soak up knowledge the way that I do, because I've always wondered how I could take certain things in. But then especially with social media, taking in that information that social media spits at you, it becomes so rapid fire. And I feel like that when you turn on your phone and you're getting that first thing in the morning, right when your mind's trying to wake up and you're at your freshest for the day, like Allie's saying, it can ruin that minute. Like, why not start your day beautifully? Like, wake up, and you were talking about how you were journaling this morning. I get up some days and I'll either try to write or just sit and be quiet in the house and just enjoy the silence and have coffee sitting next to my dog, especially with sunny days now. Got the boys, we might walk around the yard. But just also setting intentions for the day. I want to get back into meditating again in the morning because that's fallen off my little habit train. So it's like, what good habits can you almost start to put into place around these other social media habits we've created for ourselves?
That's what I do is I wake up, I listen to a podcast long enough to get my butt out of bed because I am number 1 input on the Clifton Strengths, and I need some input to like get the dopamine going enough to get out of bed. And I go have a coffee and then I turn the podcast off, usually about 10 minutes. And then I sit and I write in a journal for like, 2 pages. And then I start working, usually writing. So I'll do at least like 1K, 1 to 2K writing. And then I'll check social media. So like, it's like you need to get that 2K done before you can check your phone. And that's my rule. And well, now it's 1K because I have more time during the day with my children at school. But before you can check your phone. And I feel like that is a good rule I've set in place and I keep to it because I know if I break it once, I'll always break it. Because I have that kind of brain. So, having those rules, but like, during the holidays and when you're taking a break, you really need to have those boundaries with yourself and know it's okay. And also know that, like, I think for me, it's a good trick to, when I'm taking a break, to go, none of these videos are going to get more than 100 views. They're not. I've just decided that this week I'm going to have no engagement online. I'm just putting them up as placeholders because I like to post every day, and that's it. And have that in your head. So if they don't do well, it's what you expected. You called it that they weren't going to do well and you're not affected by it. Don't let low views on the week you're taking a break make you feel like it was a mistake to take that break.
Yeah. And look at the week that you're taking the break too, because we're on here talking to who knows how many people about taking a break over the holidays. So how many people are actually going to be taking breaks for real and hopefully stepping back from their phones and not watching as much? So are your views going to go down? They probably would anyway, because of the natural order of things. It's Christmas. It is going to be the holidays. There's going to be a lot going on and people will be busy posting, but probably not so much looking because they're living in the moment and they're going to be showing us, putting stuff onto social media.
Yeah.
But we don't need to.
Take a break. Give yourself permission to take a break. Give yourself permission to not perform as much as you usually do on social media and not feel guilty about that. And also, I would say, like, take stock of your mental health and how you're feeling about taking a break from that. Because I do feel like every once in a while, like moving here to Australia, I wasn't on social media that much. It was really, really good for me to just take a break from it, because then I could kind of like, it's almost like detoxing from that much time online. And then how much you actually want to do sustainably going forward. So view this as almost like a little personal health check to go, how am I feeling about not being online as much? How am I feeling about taking a break from engaging? And, like really like think about how you want to feel online going forward once you're back more into hype mode and pushing, promoting things again.
Yeah. And think about too, again, like this, it's the holidays. It's been a big couple of years. And I think too that, go into the holidays, go into these moments with your family and friends and imprint those in your mind. That social media post isn't going to mean squat in 2 years, but that person that you're sitting down and you're sharing a meal with, they do, they will, and they are.
Yes.
So like have those moments too, where you just go, I don't need the phone right now. Because guess what? Back in the 80s, we didn't have them. I'm just going to we had answering
We
machines.
didn't in the jungle either,
Didn't
even
have them
5
in the
years
jungle.
ago. And it's good to have that time. It's true. It's like there's real people right in front of you, and I think we need to be reminded of that sometimes. And I think it's important that we're honest with ourselves about that social media is designed to make us think more about the people in our phones than the people in front of our faces. And you shouldn't feel ashamed that you feel that way. Just acknowledge it, and then you can choose to make choices that are more focused on the people in your real life. So yeah.
So good. Oh, awesome. I feel like I've gotten so much out of this conversation.
I know. I feel like we all needed to hear it. I definitely did.
Needed to hear this. I think we've covered everything on our notes that we wanted to today. And man, for anybody
Everybody enjoy their breaks.
Yeah, enjoy breaks, plan ahead, take time out for yourself. And if you feel like it, let us know. Team at BookToktors.com. Let us know how you feel. Did I get the email address right?
Team at thebooktoktors.com.
We'll have it in the show notes, you guys. We'll have it in
the notes.
So if you want to tell us what you're doing for your social media planning, or come to us after the fact and tell us in January what you did, we would love to hear about it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week for your next appointment.